Hey, my name is Cordell, aka Hot Cocoa, and today I'm going to tell you how I do looping with Ableton Live and drums, but I'm going to show you how I do it with a metronome and without a metronome. Let's do it. Okay, I've been practicing my live loops for shows and just getting into the flow of getting something down and then messing with it afterward. This is super helpful because a lot of times when I'm playing live drums, finger drumming, or e-drumming, I like to then transition into CDJs and DJing and kind of go back and forth. So looping makes that a lot easier. But also sometimes I just want to free form, free flow. So a click isn't always the best option for the way that I want to play. So I've experimented with both looping perfectly in time to a click and looping in a more free form way. And I'm going to show you each of those ways today. Each one has their pros and cons I'll tell you about, but let's start with looping to a click. Looping to a click is really nice because it helps you stay in time more easily. If you're more novice to having your own pulse, you should really play with the click as much as you can to start to internalize that. Creating loops with a click is also really good for transitioning into other things that are perfectly in time if you're trying to DJ, for example. If you have a loop that's perfectly in time to a click, you can transition perfectly. I've been doing this using an Ableton Push and sometimes an APC40. These two are really, really helpful for looping, but there's a lot of different ways that you can do this with Ableton, a lot of different types of hardware. So check out the principles I'm using, but you don't need these exact pieces of hardware to do this, but they do help. In order to loop perfectly in time to a click, first you want to turn on the click, of course. And next to the click here, you'll see what's known as global quantization settings. This is not technically quantizing what you're going to play. This is quantizing when things are activated inside of Ableton. So for example, when you hit record, instead of recording instantly as you click it, it'll start recording in time to this global quantization. So the default is 1 bar. I typically leave it at 1 bar, which means if you hit record, for example, it won't start recording until that bar is finished. It'll start recording on the next bar. You can experiment with 2 bars or 3 bars, but if you're not sure what to do, just try 1 bar. Something else that's super helpful for playing in time is something called fixed length looping. This means that when you start a recording, it'll record for a fixed length, a specific amount of time before it stops the clip and starts looping it for you. You don't even have to press anything at the end. This is nice because you get to play through the clip without needing to think about when it's going to end. If you're using the Ableton Push, you can adjust the length of this fixed length by holding the fixed length button and then using these buttons up here to adjust the length and choose the one you want. Lately, I've been playing a lot with 4 bars or 8 bars. The push is cool too because it'll actually show you the clip while you're recording, so you can see how much of the clip is left while you're playing things out. Fixed length recording isn't actually built directly into Ableton Live. Like, it's inside of the push. There is a Max for Live device out there that'll let you do this outside of using a push, but it's not something that's directly native with Ableton, unfortunately. Now, if you're going to be playing to a click and you're doing a live performance, you probably don't want your audience hearing the click beeping through the monitors and through the speakers. There are like really nice in-ear monitors made specifically for this. You can go here in Ableton to set the output routing of the cue, which is essentially your metronome, so that your metronome will, for example, go out of 3 and 4 for your audio interface. Put that in your ears, you can hear the click perfectly, no one else can. If you don't want to use fixed length looping, you can just hit the clip button when you're done, and as long as you've got that global quantization setting going, if you hit it before the end of the bar, it'll trigger the clip perfectly in time and just start looping. Okay, so looping perfectly in time to the click or metronome is really, really nice for those reasons I mentioned, but sometimes I just don't want to hear a click in my ear and I don't want to play perfectly rigidly to a tempo. Sometimes I want to change the tempo that I'm playing at. Sometimes I want to do a little rubato and kind of expressively speed up and slow down. That's not necessarily changing the speed of the arrangement. And sometimes, you might just want to experiment. You're not even sure how fast you want to go yet, and so you just want to play around for a little bit. All of these things can be done with loops if you don't use a click. And this is something I've been experimenting a lot with lately. So if you want to loop without a metronome, first things first is turn your metronome off. Secondly, you want to turn record quantization to nothing, to none. This means that everything that you press, especially when you press record, will happen the moment you press record. because if you're not doing anything perfectly in time, how's it going to know when to start? Next thing you want to do is turn off fixed length looping, because it won't really know how to give you a fixed length if it doesn't even know what timing you're using or what tempo you're using or anything like that. So just turn it off. Okay, so with record quantization off and with fixed length turned off, you're pretty much freeform. So what this means is as soon as you press the clip button to start recording, your clip will start that very moment. So what I've been doing is as I hit that button, I'll hit the first note of whatever I want to play with my other hand. And then you're in it. You just go for as long as you want. It won't stop recording until you hit that button. I had a foot switch that I connected to the APC40 that would help me with this, and I stomped on it a little too hard and it kind of fell apart. But there are foot switch options to help you do this. But for right now, I've just been using my hands. What's different about this no click method is as soon as you hit that clip button that you use to start recording, the moment you hit it, it'll restart the loop. So basically one of your next phrase of your next loop needs to be this button. Hit that as your one. There are a lot of diverse, interesting ways to set this up. This is by no means the only way to do it. There's a million different ways. This is just the way that's been working for me lately. You can check out my Patreon if you want to see other types of drum racks like this. I have tons of different crazy sample packs and drum racks and sound design that you can play for yourself. So whether you're looping to a metronome or with no metronome, your internal timing is going to be crucial for making this sound good for a performance and for yourself for a recording. You gotta be in time. And if you want to get better at that, you can check out this video where I dive into the psychology of rhythm. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.